Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. As always, so honored to be here with you today in this covenant of love that we created 5 years ago. Can you believe that? 5 years ago, when it felt like the world was so small and getting smaller, when we were all forced to go into our homes in order to protect ourselves. But then what happened was we missed this connection, the human connection that is so important for us to feel full, to feel whole, to feel the love that really is requires us to be in close connection with other people, including that covenant of touch. And so we learned to touch each other across the airwaves. And I'm very grateful for those of you who've been with me since that day and those who have joined along the way. Today is a tough day for me and a special day at the same time. And, those of you who have been sharing this journey with me on Dreamleapers Inspiration for a while know I often talk about my mother, my dear mother, and how many lessons I have learned from her. Last Monday, we did our broadcast, and a couple of hours later, we lost my mother. She transcended. My sisters, Stephanie, Susan, and I were together with her thanks to technology. Stephanie, who's in Baltimore and always the one who has been there throughout all these years, months, and days, was in my mother's apartment with her. And thanks to technology like this, we were all three, Susan in California, me in New York, Stephanie in Baltimore, able to say our goodbyes as she left, as she literally took her last breath. It was a beautiful moment. She lived an amazing life. And, 95 years, 95 years on the planet, offering love and light and joy and hope and strength to so many people, especially to my family. Because I have shared so much about her with you, I wanted to share that with you today. It's 1 week ago today that we lost her. And I say lost when, she left her body, but her spirit, as you know, is so infused in me. I feel like I'm always sharing her lessons, and I was telling her that a lot in the past couple of months, how I do so many broadcasts, and I usually talk about her. I teach class at FIT. I did teach at Hunter. I do tons of coaching work, and everybody who touches my life gets to be touched by her because I lived the lessons that she taught us. So today, I'm dedicating this broadcast to my mother, to Doris Cole. And I am going to share some stories with you. And I also very, very much want you to share stories of remembrance about your own life. And you can do that in the chat box. And you can do that by coming on and talking with me. As you know, you can join the conversation by going online to harrietcole.com/inspiration. And it would be my honor to be in conversation with you on this very special day of tribute. I titled this Practicing Remembrance. And part of the reason that I did that is, whatever we focus our attention on is what grows, what we manifest. And at a time of loss, part of the natural thing that occurs is you just feel this hole. And you want one more hug and one more conversation and one more I love you. But then you realize you have it. Obviously it's different. It's not on a physical plane, except for you can even feel it on a physical plane, or at least I sure can right now. And I think because for so many years with my mother, I have been sharing her lessons as my lessons. giving her credit, not stealing them, but sharing them, living them. Uh, I mean, she is so present in my life and in the lives of many people who have met her and who have met her through me. Thank you, Kimberly Harry, for your loving hearts and all. And thank you to all of you who are joining now. Let's say where we are, because it's always nice to see what the covenant is and how it expands. And please, if you want to join the conversation, feel free to do so. Uh, Remembrance, practicing remembrance. What does that mean to you? You know, the the experience of loss is so incredibly profound. Kimberly is in Detroit. That's beautiful. Uh, in the moments when my sister Stephanie had gathered Susan and me together, from wherever we were. I was in the middle of a coaching session, and Stephanie says, "No, you have to come now." So I said, "Okay, bye." And we were able to be there with my mother and just share words of love and support for her transition. To be with my father, her parents, her brother, all the people who love her who have passed on, and to remind her what she knows, how much we love her and appreciate her. And then what does that look like after? How do you honor someone and hold on to that as they leave? So we've been living this, it's like, oh, well, we're planning a service. And so that makes you really busy. And when you're really busy, thinking about how to honor a person, in some ways, I think we appreciate the busy work. It's important work, but we appreciate it because there's not as much time to just be still. But this weekend, I was with friends and we wanted to meditate together. And I guided a meditation for us all, uh, much like we do on this uh, platform. And we did a meditation of installing light in the body. And it was such a beautiful thing because we took our time. Here we often do maybe a 3-minute meditation, which is also wonderful. But in this case, we had about 25 minutes. And so we could very gently and in a focused way offer light to every part of our bodies and install the light of God in every aspect of our being. And then just be in that space and breathe and trust and know that God's light is within us. And also that the light of our ancestors is within us. And my mother just became an ancestor. And feeling that, it was beautiful. We were outside. We were in my happy place, which is in the Hamptons. We're at our friend's home, and there's a beautiful, beautiful grass that we were sitting on, and what George likes to do is earthing with bare feet, putting your feet on the ground and inviting your being to merge with the universe. And so it was incredibly peaceful, and there was bird song and a gentle wind and the space to just be. And I encourage you, as you remember the people in your life who have transitioned, the people in your life who you have loved who have transitioned, to think of them in a peaceful space and to allow to come up for you whatever lessons you're supposed to be learning from those people right now. And maybe I don't know. I'm feeling I wonder if you're feeling this too. Let's do a little meditation together right now so we can access that space, and then we'll go back to some storytelling. So everybody put your feet flat on the floor. You can put your hands, thumb and forefinger touching on your knees. Sit up nice and straight. Relax your shoulders. If you'd like, you can close your eyes. Fallon, if you can find that the waves from My Happy Place, let's put those in for just a moment. We'll do this for like 2 or 3 minutes. But everybody, take a deep breath in and breathe out long. Breathe in deeply once again and breathe out long. And one more time, breathe in deep and breathe out long. And now just breathe naturally. And as you're breathing naturally, as you breathe, I want you to imagine someone you love in your life who has transitioned. Someone who has been so meaningful to you, who is no longer physically on the planet, but is present in your heart. Invoke that person now. Feel that person's presence with you. Breathe the essence of your love into your being. Feel that person giving you the biggest hug. Feel the undeniable, unconditional love that you received from that person every day that the person was alive. And feel it now, even as the person is gone. Breathe, breathe love in and exhale love. Allow yourself to be comforted by the love that you shared with this person who was so important to you. Breathe in love, exhale love. Breathe in love, exhale love. Know that even if you are in a tender spot like me, 1 week since my mother transitioned, I see the smile on her face and I feel her smile in my heart. Feel your beloved smile in your heart. Cherish the memories of that person and how meaningful that person was and is to your life. Breathe in love. Exhale love. Feel the love surrounding you. Feel your beloved's embrace, buoying you, uplifting you, making you stronger. And now gently, you may open your eyes and we'll come back to being together. Yes. Thank you, Adrian, LaShawn, all who have joined, all who are continuing to join. I hope you are feeling the love of your beloved as I am feeling the love of mine. And the quote that I pulled for today, I want to share with you now about practicing remembrance. And it says, I know for certain that we never lose the people we love, even to death. They continue to participate in every act, thought, and decision we make. Their love leaves an indelible imprint in our memories. We find comfort in knowing that our lives have been enriched by having shared their love. This is from Leo Buscaglia. Now I'm going to read it again, and maybe you keep your eyes closed for this and really take it in, feel it. This is for each one of us. I know for certain that we never lose the people we love, even to death. They continue to participate in every act, thought, and decision we make. Their love leaves an indelible imprint in our memories. We find comfort in knowing that our lives have been enriched by having shared their love. Do you have people in your life who have passed on that you think about in that way? Do they come to you in moments of tenderness, in moments of sadness and questioning? Do you ever hear their voices just speaking up and reminding you of your greatness? I've had that happen since my father's mother, we called her Nina, since she passed away. I was 15. And she would come to me, and I was 15. I was like, "Oh, she's here." And she was. She was there guiding me. At first, I was a little scared, like, "She's in the bathroom with me right now. Why is she here?" And Nina was very stern. And I just remember thinking, "Okay, I gotta stay strong," because she was strong. And that was the beginning. And there have been so many visitations and memories that I've had from the elders in my family. I wonder if that's true for you. My friend Sharon writes, that was lovely. I, as you, evoked my angel mama. Thank you. Yes, yes. I mean, some of us, Sharon is one of them, we've had our mothers for a long time. What a blessing. It's a blessing however long we have them. But when you have had them for a long time and they've lived with you through lots of different seasons in your life, as much as you treasure that, it doesn't make it any easier when they leave. They're still gone. But Leo Buscaglia says they're not really gone, right? If they're not really gone, because you can always invoke them, then somehow that makes it better. So I want to ask if anybody wants to come on and talk about your beloved, somebody you want to say what a lesson that you learned from someone who's passed on, you can join the conversation. Any of you who knew my mama, if you'd like to say something, you're welcome to do so. As we continue this broadcast, I just want to make that invitation. And the way you do that is to go, you can write in the chat box, or if you want to talk, you can go to harrietcole.com/inspiration and come on and talk with me. And you're welcome to do that if you'd like. I wrote down some lessons because I'm always sharing my mother's lessons, but I was thinking as Buscaglia is saying, and what my message is practice remembrance. I wanted to share a few of those with you today. The first being keep good company. That's what my mother, Doris Cole, and her mother, Carrie Freeland, used to say all the time. Keep good company. Be conscientious about the people that you include in your orbit. Who gets to be there? Are they people who deserve to be there? Have you curated your life such that the people who are close to you, the people who are close to your heart, the people who are physically close to you, the people who you call, people you spend time engaging, should they be there? Are they the right people? Are they people who uplift you as you uplift them? Are they people who are honorable? Are they people who love you the way that you want and need to be loved? I wonder when I am conscious of that, I make much smarter decisions. Now, all of us have made mistakes. And so I certainly have made the mistake of sometimes allowing people in too close. And then when my feelings get hurt, I'm blaming them and like, maybe it's not their fault. I'm the one who let somebody in who didn't deserve to be in. Not meaning there's anything wrong with the person, but for my world, for my inner orbit, who gets to be there? Who gets the honor of being in that space with me? Ask yourself that. Have you curated your relationship such that the people who are close to you are there because you and they have proven that you can be there for each other? Not sometime friends, but heart to heart friends. And the ones who are sometime friends, you may not get rid of them, but do they get to be all the way in? And when you discover that someone isn't good company, when someone isn't being honorable, when someone has betrayed a trust, a value, a an understanding of how to live, should they remain in your company? My mother would say absolutely not. And she said sometimes you just have to pivot and walk away. That was a lesson I learned early on when a friend really hurt me. And I couldn't figure out why. My mother said sometimes you can't figure out why. Sometimes you just have to pivot and walk away. How many times have you stayed in a relationship too long because it felt uncomfortable to walk away? Because you wanted answers before you walked away. Doris Cole says, sometimes you gotta pivot and walk away. Boom, the end. Another of her great lessons for me, and that I've recently learned that this is a lesson she taught me. So my sisters and I were saying there are three of us, and we're all different from each other. I think Stephanie made the point. Some people say, you're supposed to love your children equally. And Stephanie, who also has three children, says, she doesn't think that that's exactly what my mother did. What she did was to love each of us the way we needed to be loved. And because we are so different from each other, it was different. How she loved me is different from how she loved Susan, how she loved Stephanie. So this particular lesson that I thought was a lesson she gave to all of us was actually a lesson she gave to me. And it was and is notice the bright lights in the room. I remember her saying that any number of times, and I don't remember why, but I'll tell you the first time that I used this very consciously was when I was thinking of moving to New York. I had graduated from Howard and I was trying to figure out what in the world I was going to do with my life. What I was doing, the job I had was not the direction I wanted to be in. But my mother, I remember her for having said, notice the bright lights in the room. And that translated to the people, literally the people who are engaging you in some kind of a way that are special in some kind of way. And that in that moment, they were people who had been close to me, who had moved to New York and were working in the field I was interested in working in. And I contacted the two people who had been really lovely to me in school and who were working at magazines, asked them if they could get me interviews for jobs. They did, and I was offered both jobs. And that's how I ended up coming to New York to work for Essence. And even more specific experience of notice the bright lights in the room. When I first started doing speaking engagements, which is, I don't know, decades ago, I was nervous. I was a nervous public speaker. I spoke very quietly and was kind of shy as a public speaker. and my mother was encouraging me to speak up, and my sister Susan was definitely deepen your voice and speak up. And that message again, notice the bright lights in the room. And I teach this to my students all the time, public speaking classes. Look out at the audience. Who are the bright lights? Who is looking back at you and smiling? Who is offering you love? Notice them. And human nature is so weird. A lot of times, what we do is to focus on the person who's looking at their phone or who's falling asleep or the person who's not paying attention. Don't focus on them. Doris Cole said, absolutely not. Focus on the bright lights in the room. Who is smiling at you? Smile at them. That person's going to give you energy. Who is loving you? Love them. Guys, are you hearing me? Because this is a huge lesson. It was very practical in a public speaking space. But if you think about your life, how many of us long for someone or something that we do not have to be there when there's something right in front of our face, something, someone who is offering the love that we need? How often do we look past what is right in front of our face? We don't notice the bright light that's right there because we're looking at a light somewhere else. You know? Natalie, Natalie, are you here? No, no, no. Um, I was thinking Natalie was here to speak up. It's okay if you're not. It's fine. Oh, am I frozen? Here I am. I that one, notice the bright lights in the room and the depth of that particular lesson when I think about my own life. We are all seeking affirmation. Doesn't matter who you are. How often do we spend extra time seeking affirmation from a boss, a friend, now with social media, somebody who has more likes than we have, a love interest, a neighbor, whoever. How often do we spend too much time longing for someone to affirm us, leaving us somewhat broken? And Doris Cole said, don't do that. First of all, the bright light inside of you is what you need to be cultivating. That inner strength, that inner light, that connection to divinity, right? And beyond that, look at your life. Where are the bright lights? Focus on them. Stop trying to get something that isn't yours. Stop longing for something that isn't there. Love yourself and love those who are offering that covenant of goodness to you. That's a lesson I got from Doris Cole. She also taught us to choose joy. She never complained. Now, I just want to give you some context for this. At the end of life, my mother was ill and in pain. And not for a long time, but for long enough. And she didn't complain. When she was physically in pain, if we asked her, sometimes she would say that she was in pain. And then we'd get her pain medicine. But mainly, she would she said things like, I'm making the most of what I've got left. Every day she would wake up with a smile. Every day, even on her last day when she could hardly take a breath. She had a beautiful, genuine, authentic smile on her face, and she offered love to absolutely everyone who crossed her path every day. Imagine if you never complained. Think of it. I mean, she just didn't. She chose the positive. She chose joy every day. And there's something about that I always work toward doing, but also that I want to share with all of you that no matter what, even like this tender space that I'm in right now, as my mother transitions to just be in the universe in a different way, choose joy. See God in each other. Enjoy the covenant of love that you have, you know? Jomani, sweet Jomani, my student, wrote, "My father taught me to question all of the things in the world, not in speculation, but in curiosity. He was an excavator of gems in people, places, and experiences." I miss him. That's beautiful. I love that. An excavator of gems in people, places, and experiences. That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Jomani. You know, my mother was a kindergarten teacher, and Jomani's one of my students. I love that my students are connected to me in this way. I see Renee Warren sending condolences. I see Curtis Jacobs, you know, my sister Sharon, all of you who have joined today. Thank you for joining. We're going to sign off now because you know this is always about 30 minutes, but we never really signed off. Thank you for spending this time with me. Today is not an easy day. It's been 1 week since my mother transitioned. And it is memories of her that are keeping me smiling. And I hope that you will keep your inner smile and remember your loved ones and rely on their love in tender moments. So I honor my mother, Darth Cole, in this moment. I thank you for sharing this covenant with me. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.